If you're still manually paying your bills and moving your money around on a monthly basis, you're not only wasting time, but you run the risk of making financial mistakes. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I, as an accountant, actually automate my finances, how to remove stress, and how you can too. So let's go. So first up, we're going to talk about why automating your financial situation is essential or vitally important. And one of the biggest reasons why this is important is that it's going to save you time and it's going to reduce the amount of financial errors that you make. So instead of having to always be thinking about what bill do I need to pay, should I pay my mortgage today, should I pay my mortgage in a week's time, you've automated the process, and so you've got more time available because you've done this one time and your bill will get paid. And I know sometimes situations and circumstances change, so it's not a set and forget sort of situation. More often than not it is, but there are certain times you might just want to go back and just reassess how you've set things up, and if it still makes sense, if the amount that you need to pay still is the same, but it's going to save you time and it's going to reduce errors. In addition to that, you are going to make your payments on time, and it's going to reduce late payment fees, in fact all penalties, because if I'm paying my bill as and when it becomes due, I'm not going to run into a situation where I'm going to forget and in turn be charged penalties. In addition to those 2 points, it also helps build wealth, and so you are going to automate your savings as well as your investing. So as money comes into your checking account, and I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, you're actually going to transfer money directly into your savings account as well as into your different investment accounts. So let's talk about what you should be automating first. So the first area I want you to consider is your bill payments. So this would be things like your mortgage and your rent, credit card payments, subscriptions, utilities, and the like, things like that, in other words. And so when it comes to your mortgage, you might have an ACH payment that you're going to make or an auto draft. When it comes to things like your subscriptions, which you know is going to be the same amount every month, you could set it up where you pay it via your credit card. So I subscribe to TV streaming services like Peacock and Paramount, and there's quite a few of them because I watch English football, and so I need to watch on different channels, but that's besides the fact. And so what I do on a monthly basis, they've got my credit card details and they automatically take the amount out of my credit card. So that's automated. I don't have to go in and log in every month and make the payment. And the same with your mortgage. You run the risk when you are doing it manually of actually missing a payment or paying late and not managing your cash flow appropriately, which could end up costing you in the long run. The next area that I want you to consider automating is your investing and savings. But let's talk about savings first. So there's two types of savings I want to touch on. The first is going to be your emergency fund. If you don't have a fully funded emergency fund, then this is a particular area that you want to automate your savings to. So you want to ensure and identify what you believe you need to have in a fully funded emergency fund and then transfer money to that automatically. And we'll talk about how that works shortly. When it comes to investing, the exact same thing. If you are going to have to manually transfer money into your brokerage account, there's a possibility that you are going to forget to do so. And if you forget to do so, you're not going to be investing into your future. So set it up where it runs automatically. The next area that I want you to consider automating is your debt repayments. And so identifying how much is due, and then setting up an automatic payment for your debt for at least the minimum amount. If you've got more money available, we can increase that. But for now, I want you to set up your automation where you are making at least the minimum amount payment happen automatically. So getting yourself out of the equation again, when you're not involved directly by actually having to log in and then to make the payment, you actually find yourself in a better position where you possibly won't pay late. You're actually going to pay on time, and so you're not going to have those penalties and overdraft fees and all those different fees that comes with having to do it manually. So let's talk about how you set this up and the key thing that I think that you need to assess, because again, it is set and forget, but it's not set and forget at the same time. So first of all, hop on into your online bank account and identify if they've got a bill transfer feature or an auto pay feature, and then set up your bills to auto pay that way. So this is different to if you're paying it via the credit card. In addition to that, once you've set that up for your bills, you want to go into your brokerage account and make sure that it's connected to your bank account, and that money is automatically transferring from your bank account to your brokerage account for your investing purposes. When it comes to things like your emergency fund, in our household, we talk about the importance of having a high yield savings account. So we've set up on a particular day each month to transfer money automatically from our checking account into our emergency fund so that we always know that we have the right amount or more than enough in that particular account. We've also got different savings accounts where we automatically transfer money into the savings accounts. And these could be things like we've got a goal in our household to travel each year. So we've got a travel savings account. So we automatically transfer money from our checking account into our savings account. And there's a few other accounts that we have where we do this. The very important thing over here is before you go and set up all these transfers is to make sure that you assess what your income is versus your expenses, and then you set it up appropriately and accordingly, because I can't go ahead and set up transfers into a savings account for a travel goal if I don't have enough income. Now, I've got a video on top over here where I talk about how you can set up your spending plan, which will help you think about how do you identify how much money you've actually got available to then set up these automatic transfers. I also want to encourage you guys, once you set this up, to review your finances on a quarterly basis, just in case things change. Maybe you got less debt, so you don't have a credit card payment anymore. You don't want to continue to automatically pay into a credit card if you don't owe them money. I've seen lots of cases online where people have overpaid their credit cards because they've automated it. So assess your financial position, and when you need to stop a particular automation, stop it, and then redirect those particular funds to areas that you actually want to fund, whether that is paying off debt a lot quicker, whether it's putting more into savings or increasing the amount that you're actually investing. So set a calendar reminder to actually assess your automations and your financial situation on at least a quarterly basis. So let's talk about a few common pitfalls when it does come to automation. And so the first one I want to point out, as I've mentioned before, is if you're not going to assess your automation on a quarterly basis, you run the risk of automating too much. And what I mean by that is you're paying more than you should on a particular bill, like the credit card. So you've paid more than what was actually due. So it's important to actually assess your automations. In addition to that, if your situation, financial situation changes, your income versus expenses changes, if you're not going to assess your automations and your personal finances, you run the risk of getting into a situation where you're transferring more money out of your bank account to pay for certain expenses, which you shouldn't be paying for, because you might have to adjust your lifestyle. But when you do that, you're going to get penalties and overdraft fees, and you don't want to be in that situation. So yes, there are benefits with automation. It's going to save you lots of time, but you are ultimately still responsible for making sure that you do things properly. So I encourage you guys, just assess it on a quarterly basis. And in addition to assessing it on a quarterly basis, make adjustments based on your change in lifestyles. If you've got more income, you might be able to automate more. If you change your circumstances at home, as we have, where my wife has become a stay-at-home mom, we've got maybe less income coming from her. And so as a result of that, we've actually went in and we've changed the flow of our transactions and what we're actually spending money on. So you got to consider those factors too. So now that you know the importance of automation, comment below what part of your finances you're going to automate first. For more videos like this, guys, where I'm going to teach you to cut your costs, increase your income, and live a generous lifestyle, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.